Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cards Diecast 4 channel. I want to thank you all for watching. This is going to be video 3 of the 2017 Panini Select Endorsement Showcase Series, and this time we are dabbing into the Red Prism endorsement line, and this will be the first time that we will be showcasing you all 29 drivers that will be featured in the endorsement set. From here on out, we get the whole kit and caboodle, so we have one extra driver to showcase to you all in this video. So with that said, let's just go ahead and go straight to it. Alrighty then, here we go now. This is going to be one of these shorter printed ones, obviously. We're going to go ahead and start again with Adam Stevens like we've been doing the last couple videos. The standard print run, I believe, for red endorsement should be around the 25 mark. So these are actually going to be a little bit difficult to secure, especially as we move forward, because we do have several drivers that are going to be super short printed to say the least. But with that said though, this is going to be a standard print 8 of 25 in this instance for this card, the Adam Stevens crew chief for Kyle Busch. Following that, again, is going to be for Alan Gustafson. I wish he would put a little bit more investment to the autograph, but still, nonetheless, look at the finish on that card, ladies and gentlemen. Excellent hit right there. Nonetheless, crew chief for Chase Elliott, as I stated, and this one, again, is a standard print 4 of 25. We have Billy Scott over here, Danica Patrick's old crew chief, last real full-time crew chief. She may have had somebody else that last race that she had, but this was her last full-time crew chief. I believe they switched over. I think as of right now it's Cole Custer's crew chief. Flip the card around again. It's going to be a standard print out of 25. This one here particularly is 9 of 25. Dale Inman, Richard Petty's old crew chief, is going to be here at the number 4 spot, and this is going to be again a standard print for the legend crew chief for Dale or Richard Petty in Dale Inman, and this is out of 25 again, 9 of 25 in that instance. This cost me way too much to get. For a while, this was one of the big hits that I was missing, and I spent way too much. I mean, this is like a $4 to $5 card, maybe $10 at most if it's really rare and hard to find at a certain point. But I think I paid like 30 bucks for this. I paid actually that much because I really needed to secure the set here because I was so close. So this is one of those deals where you're going to be, for one, it's going to be short printed anyway, from the standpoint that there's only 25 of them out there. So whenever you have an opportunity to secure them, and if that's the only one available, sometimes you end up spending more money than you would like to admit. But unfortunately, I spent a lot of money on that. And of course, the very next week, here they all come into eBay, being sold for like $2 to $3 a pop, so that didn't make me all that happy. But this one here does. It is Paul Wolfe again. This is the old crew chief for Brad Keselowski, now currently for Ryan Blaney, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Standard print run though, but I do believe, yes, this is 2 of 25. So this would be considered, I guess, a car number, if you will, at least for considering that circumstance at the time. Here we have Slugger Labby. Again, Michael Waltrip affiliated, Austin Dillon affiliated, but I think at this point maybe retired, but I could be mistaken. Flip the card around. I'm having a feeling though, no, it's out of 25. I was thinking for some reason that he may have been elevated printed, but no. Mike Buckaravich, again, this is Clint Boyer's current crew chief, I believe, Tony Stewart's last crew chief. This was a pretty difficult one for me to secure as well. Even though at one point I actually owned the entire set for this driver, but that's, of course, I always sell cards first, and then it's after I realize, hey, I want to start a set. Hey, you just sold some of the very cards that you needed, and that's something I've been pretty guilty of. But with that said though, when we turn the card around, this is actually going to be one of the elevated printed autographs. This one here is actually 20 of 49. So Mike Buckaravich should actually be one of the easier drivers to, or rather crew chief autographs to secure for the endorsement line should you want to build one for yourself. Here we go now with Bill Elliott. This will be our first mainstream star, although he is retired. And with that red fire suit and the red prism background, excellent autograph right here. Very good looking to look at. Flip the card around. This will be a standard print of 6 of 25 for Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. Here we have Rodney Childers. This is Kevin Harvick's crew chief. Again, you're now, because it is so short printed, this is where you start noticing, like, this was another card that was a little bit difficult for me to secure. Even though it's a crew chief, you would think it would be readily available. Not necessarily, and especially when you only have a print run of 25 in this instance. This here is 19 or 13 to 25, pardon me. It starts getting a little bit difficult. So this is actually a pretty significant set to collate together, in my opinion at least. Now, if you remember from the blue signature, or rather the blue prism endorsement video, we made mention that this autograph was very short printed to 18. So obviously, if that was 18 in blue, the red is going to be significant as well, and certainly it is. This is going to be the second hardest autograph, if I could remember off the top of my head, to secure. When we flipped the card around, I'm not sure exactly why they made him so difficult and so low numbered, but this one here is numbered as if it was a gold. This one here is only 2 of 10. So if you want the entire red prism set, you need to be on the lookout for Bobby Labonte whenever his endorsement autographs become available. Next autograph is going to be for Mark Martin. Mark Martin, of course, the bridesmaid for all those years. Switched over to Hendrick Racing and had a resurgence, I believe, in his career. Perhaps would have been a champion had he been driving for Hendrick instead of Jack Roush. But with that said, though, can't go back in time. This is 8 of 25, still a Hall of Fame career for Mark Martin. So here we go now with Terry Labonte. He was pretty high printed, elevated in the blue prism. However, I made an error. I think I mentioned that the red prism would also be elevated as well, but it's not. In this instance, it's just a standard print run of 25. This one here is 14 of 25, so I do want to correct myself for Terry Labonte and the red prism endorsement. Here we go now with Richard Petty. We made mention, if you remember from the blue prism video, that his blue prism endorsement was short printed to 43 out of his car number. You know, the Petty blue, I think I understand that connection right there. But when we flipped the card around for his red prism, I don't believe there's any real difference in the print run. This one here is 23 of 25, so Richard Petty returns to be a standard print driver for the red endorsements line. Here we go now with Dale Jarrett. Again, Dale Jarrett, not too much else to add. Multiple-time Daytona 500 winner. Retired while driving for Michael Waltrip Racing in a pretty abysmal season as the team was developing that new Toyota system, which now is pretty dominant now in the sport. 14 to 25 for Dale Jarrett right there. Again, there's no back and front as far as I can remember for any of the autograph error cards for Cale Yarborough. If you remember the base video, it had a autograph in the front, an autograph in the back. Because he made a mistake, he signed it off too early. But the thing is, though, I really don't see anything out there that features a numbered hit where it has that as well. So this is going to be a standard print run out of 25 for Cale Yarborough. And here we go now with Darrell Waltrip, and again, this is going to be, I actually just now noticed this, but remember with Darrell Waltrip, the neat thing about him is that he did not consistently, although I think a lot of them, he just signed Darrell Waltrip. But with that said, though, he did make several alterations in his autograph. With the base, we had his full name, Darrell Lee Waltrip. And then with the blue prism endorsements, he had the number 11 written. And now here is one of the smiley faces. You see here with the P, he made a little bit of a smiley face. So he made that's 3 different variations of his autograph between those 3 endorsement parallels. So thank you very much, Mr. Waltrip, because beyond that, though, I wouldn't have much else to say for you. But here is a standard print run, I believe. This one here is 14 of 25 specifically for this red prism endorsement. And much like with the blue prism, this is going to be the highest numbered red endorsement. The blue prism endorsement was out of 199. We have the red here, and when we flip the card around, we are going to notice that it is out of 99. So it's very elevated, in fact, sky high. We'll go ahead and call it for the red endorsements for Mr. Harry Gant. Here we go now with Herschel McGriff. Herschel McGriff. Really, the only thing I keep mentioning is that he was the first checker flag 1-of-1 autograph that I saw. And once I saw that, I was like, there's actually some salvaging with this Select deal. Select eventually would become one of my favorite ones, but at the time I was pretty critical of it. 24/25 standard print autograph for Herschel McGriff. And then here we go now with Ned Jarrett. Again, I really haven't been able to say too much for him. I just remember him mainly from the ESPN days, being in the booth with good old BP and Bob Jenkins. But those days have since long gone. But he is still kicking, I believe. 19/25. Thank you very much for Ned Jarrett. And here we go now with Danica Patrick and her red endorsements. I've pulled several of these as well. I've had several of these in my possession. Got one currently right now, I think at a PSA 10, but that's with the entire Danica set. And this here is my spare one that I keep specifically to keep in line with all the red endorsements. As for this card here, this is the first in print. This is 01/25 for my specific card here. Standard print run for Miss Danica Patrick. And then here he is, ladies and gentlemen. This was the one missing driver from the base and the blue. So you will not find this driver in either one of those parallels, but you will find him starting here with the red, and it's going to be for Jimmie Johnson. And we have an excellent PSA Gem Mint 10 copy to showcase for you guys right here. Pulled this card pack fresh, and these endorsements for Jimmie Johnson is going to be, I could argue William Byron as the rarest, but you can certainly make the case that it's Jimmie Johnson that's the hardest to collect, because obviously he has no blue or no base. But the thing is, though, the argument for Byron, if you will, is that because he does have a base, which you really can't number that too much, but because he does have a blue and it's out of 7, that in itself has its own difficulty. And it's actually shorter printed, I believe, when we go to Byron's autograph for the red here. But nonetheless, though, we'll save that for a little later. Here we have the red endorsements for Jimmie Johnson in PSA Gem Mint 10 form. Very happy to have that, because unfortunately, as we will make statements later, the quality control really was killed on the Jimmie Johnson autographs, and I'll elaborate on that in the gold and checkered flag videos. So again, that's Jimmie Johnson. That was the one missing driver. So now we go back now to Kevin Harvick, a reflection of what we've been doing beforehand. Again, excellent finish. Wish that they would make Budweiser cards. But the thing is, though, is that even though he does have Budweiser at the time, now Busch, they don't allow that company, Anheuser-Busch, does not allow their logos to be on trading cards. So I think they stopped doing that around 1995 or 96, back in the Ken Schrader days, because then all of a sudden you had Budweiser on cards, and then all of a sudden those logos were completely censored out, and it was just bland red cards. So it is what it is. That's the problem with NASCAR, you know, especially when I was a kid collecting the little die cast. I always wanted to have the Miller Genuine Draft card, the car, the Budweiser car, and everything else, and you can never get that from Walmart. They would always be censored. Moving on now, though, here we have Matt Kenseth. Matt Kenseth, who just made his return, obviously, because of Kyle Larson's issues. This is a pretty hard autograph, I noticed, to secure as well. The one that I did find on eBay as of this video is a little bit expensive, so if you're ever able to get your hands on one of these and you already have some of those foundation drivers, I suggest you go ahead and pick it up while you can. This one's a standard print out of 25. Likewise, the Kevin Harvick, I did mention that this too is also out of 25 as well, so both of them are standard print drivers. Here we go now with Rusty Wallace. Rusty Wallace, the Miller Genuine Draft car, and just really not too much else to say, really. Flip the card around, and this is going to be yet another standard print out of 25. This one here is number 6 of 25 for good old Rusty. Thought I had this graded by PSA, but I actually don't. But here is going to be the third most difficult driver to secure. It's going to be for Dale Earnhardt Jr. He has that verification sticker. Again, like I said, I thought I had it in PSA grade, but I don't. Flip the card around, and you're going to see why it's going to be one of the difficult ones to get, because this one here is shorter printed by 10. This is only 11 of 15 in this instance for this card, so it's going to be William Byron here in a second. It's going to be Bobby Labonte, the second most difficult, then Dale Earnhardt Jr. Followed by this driver right here. Again, I'm not sure why they short printed him to death in the blue and the red, but Casey Mears likewise is also short printed, so don't forget about this guy when you decide to collect the entire red set here, because when we flip the card around, we see there, what is this? This is out of 15 as well. This is 2 of 15. So make sure it's going to be, again, William Byron, Bobby Labonte, Dale Jr., Casey Mears, your 4 short printed red prism endorsements. Then we have Daniel Suarez. Daniel Suarez, who's trying to maintain his career, although was a little bit on life support at one point, it looked like. But he's trying to maintain his career with that 96 car as of this video. This one's a standard print rather, at 25. And then finally, ladies and gentlemen, William Byron, just like we've been showing you the last couple videos, especially with the blue prism, that was out of 7. And this one here is the red prism. There's only 5. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I own 3 of them as of this video. So there's only 2 of them out there. I know one guy has 1 out there in his collection. So if there is 1 still left in the box, there is only literally 1. And so that likely means, in my idea, that all 5 probably at this point have already been pulled. So again, as I said, I own 3 of them. This here is my 1 raw copy. The other red is graded by SGC. I believe it got a 10, but they didn't give a 10 to the autograph. And then the other one is the PSA 9 that I have for the complete William Byron set. So again, this one here in particular is the first imprint. This is 1 of 5. Again, you can see it right there, 1 of 5. So if you're ever able to secure one of those red prism endorsements for William Byron, once you have that, I think then you could kind of start working your way up. But at this point, it's going to be incredibly difficult to secure the William Byron, considering how I said I have 3 of them. And it's not because I'm trying to hoard them, it's because I had some trade fuel offers, or I had some trade fuel with one of them. And obviously, since I own the complete red endorsements, I wanted to keep 1 for that. And I have the complete William Byron endorsements, so I wanted to keep 1 for that. And then another red one I'm trying to keep as trade fuel, but no one has the cards that I need. So that's the reason why I have 3 of the 5. But still, if you are able to secure one of those extra 2 out there, then you can go start building that red endorsement line. But with that said, though, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you learned something. And now, ladies and gentlemen, video 4 is coming up, the gold prism endorsement line. Let's go ahead and get right to it.